This is Breaking New Ground, and I'm Eric Mieni. Thanks for joining us as we travel around the country, looking at urban centers and their speed and efficiency of housing delivery. This week, we're in Durban, in the eThekwini municipality, where the pace of housing delivery is quite commendable. It's been 5 years since 2003, when the eThekwini municipality was voted Local Authority of the Year for its rapid delivery of housing to the poor. Now the municipality is in the news again for trying to integrate Durban through mixed-income housing development projects that have had a huge uptake from the public. In addition to those projects, the eThekwini municipality has numerous other housing interventions on the go. Let's take a look at some of them, starting with the Gliblands hostel upgrade in Umlazi. As you leave Durban International Airport, you can see Gliblands Hostel to your left. It started out as rental accommodation for mainly single men looking for work in the city. It is now being converted into a more family-oriented and integrated living complex. Sanjay, give me some history of this place, Gliblands Hostel. Why was it built, when was it built, and who was it built for?
Historically, the hostels right throughout the country and even in this city was built for migrant labor coming to the city in search of employment, better opportunities. And it was single-sexed, predominantly male, but obviously females were allowed but lived in separate quarters. It was visiting wives' quarters as such. And hence, from that stance, it started to change slightly the emphasis, where now females and wives and spouses are beginning to populate the hostel environment.
Well, what was wrong with that setup exactly?
Well, it created disjointed families, broken families. It created the distance between loved ones, between kids. And it created, obviously, with a whole series of single-sex people living together, a whole lot of social issues came about.
So how long did this prevail for? How old is Gliblands Hostel?
Between 30 and 35 years, the situation remained until new government came into power and everything had to change, create more privacy, get the family unit back intact, create family units, and hence the entire redevelopment program commenced.
Let's go and take a look at that a little bit. So would this be the newly converted unit?
This is a new unit, hasn't been occupied as yet. Previously it was an open dormitory, beds stacked next to each other, no privacy. Now we've got a 3-bedroom flatlet in here.
So none of these walls?
None of the walls.
Just an open space?
Open hall, yeah.
Wow.
We had approximately 8 people living in per dormitory. There's different configurations right throughout the Gliblands hostel. In this one we had about 8. Communal kitchen and bathroom facilities. Now we have it all within the flat.
So from having 8 men living in this open space, what do you envision now in this flat?
We'll have a family living in here. Family with probably 4 or 5 people, 3-bedroom, fully self-contained.
What happens to the rest of the people?
The excess of people, the displaced people being accommodated in new accommodation within the complex itself. These are completely greenfield. All there was here was bush and field, which we've now developed into completely new buildings to take care of the displaced people from the existing dormitories.
So what have you built here? What are the spaces like?
We've got 3-bedroom units, toilet, bathroom, kitchenette, individual water and electricity meter utility services provided in here, with a bit of parking space, courtyard for the kids to play in, more of a suburb type environment rather than from the stark hostel type environment. We're trying to change the hostels into what we call community residential units and integrate the hostels with the surrounding suburb. So hopefully at the end of the program, one wouldn't be able to define the extremities of the hostel. It will all now be nicely integrated with the surrounding areas.
Yes.
The process to get the people out here is that we move the people from the existing units into a decanting facility. The people wait there while we upgrade the existing and build new. Once that's completed, the people move back into the upgraded unit, and the displaced and the excess people get taken care of in the new units that we have seen here.
And there's been political buy-in now for the process and it's moving ahead.
Right through the process, from every step of the way, we're talking with the local leadership, the councillors, the ward committees, the LNGs, the block chairmen, and the residents itself. We're getting the buy-in and the support all along the process. Because without that support, the program will not work at all.
Sanjay, well, thanks for coming on BNG and explaining all of that.
Sure, you're welcome. Thank you very much.
Sabona mzizi. Isikhathi abasithathu kuyilungisa le ndawo sisidanga kakhulu.
Sona ngizothi kumina sibe sida ngendlela ebengijahe ngayo. Ya ngendlela ebengijahe ngayo kona noma singesidanga ngenxa ukuthi phela bekusetshenzwa kodwa ngokwami ngendlela bengijahe ngayo.
So ngibona umuntu wonke uma ke ngakukhona ukuthola indawo enjalo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ya ngibonile ngale ndlu ngale stairs esishintshiwe ukuthi nalezi ezinye zingashintshwa. Zenziwe nje zonke zibe leyanto le njengaleyana.
Cha, no. Hayi cha siyakubongela mzizi.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu nami phela ukuthi hayi.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll drive to Keto Manor to take a look at Durban's prime example of an integrated human settlement. Right here on the outskirts of the city of Durban is the historic area of Keto Manor, where thousands of people were, forcibly removed some years back, but came back to live in shacks because the place was so centrally located. They could walk to work and back. Now it has been changed into one of the model examples of an integrated human settlement. So we'll just go there and see what it's like. Yeah, so what is the plan now for the place?
Keto Manor is sort of like divided into 3 wards. Ward 29, 4 wards, it's Ward 24, 29, 30, and 31. And so far we have managed to house over 2,500 families within these whole projects. And we are still hoping with the current projects that are running to accommodate another 2,000 families.
Yeah, and how long do you think this process is going to run for?
Because with the in-situ upgrades, which are the balance of the projects that are left, we all dependent on the city finding more land where houses can be built and then the people living here can be relocated. And the city is in the process of doing that, engaging with landowners, purchasing land and developing those. So it's dependent on that happening. But roughly one can say within the next 2.5 years, we should be complete with the housing in Keto Manor.
Are you happy with what's going on in Keto Manor?
Definitely. There's lots of opportunities for people and with every development, it can be 50 sites, 100, 200 sites. If you look around in Keto Manor, you find that there's too much of integration. You've got too many kinds of people, too many types of development, which I think in the earlier visions, no one have ever imagined that it would come up this way.
Tell me about these bonded houses around here. What's their story with relation to Keto Manor?
It all started with, there is a Manor Gardens residence suburb. Basically, it's an old white suburb. Now, when we're doing the integration, obviously building the low-cost houses, there was a concern from the residents of Manor Gardens that the houses or the type of houses we're building is going to depreciate the value of their houses. And then the challenge was thrown into SMD at the time to look at options of putting an interfacing zone, buffer strip, between the Manor Gardens and our straight government houses. Now, there were discussions and which went on and on. Apparently an agreement was reached at that time. When we were doing the presentation to them, showing them pictures to say, guys, this is what we're gonna do to honor the agreement which was in place with CMDA, you could see in their eyes, some of them were not seeing this thing that's gonna happen or not. But when we've done it, the feedback we're getting them, they're very appreciative. The product they see, they are very impressed with it.
Excellent. Well, thanks for talking to us here on BNG.
No, pleasure.
So kusaphilela wasiqhuba.
Kuyaphileka baba nina njani?
I know. Manje kunjani la njengoba nihleli kanje?
Sihlele kahle kakhulu. Awukho umsindo, azikho ipoti noma sivuke ekseni semsebenzini asabi. Ngisho nemoto le ngiyayishiya nje ivuliwe. Akho igebengu. Sihlele kahle kakhulu.
Yeah. Inkinga noma akho neyodwa.
Hayi inkinga hayi. Asikakayibona mhlambe sazofika.
Yeah, zashika emjondo.
Zasala le endaweni endala.
A planned social housing project in Newlands, a suburb just outside Durban, has put the city in the news recently. Being a mixed income housing development that will also use racial quotas to, solve the housing problem, it's had a huge uptake from the public. Let's take a look at it and see how it's going. Under apartheid, this site was traditionally a buffer area between colored, black and Indian townships. This exciting project attempts to overcome those differences. Thanks for coming on BNG, Bombs.
Thank you for hosting me.
Could you fill us in on the Newlands infill site project?
Ideally, the intention is to provide a product that is affordable to the public. That is, if you look at the current housing products that are being offered, we've got what we term low-cost housing project that caters for people who are earning below 3,500 rand. And if you look at the open market these days, there is a cap market because there are people who are not qualifying in terms of the eligibility criteria for that low-cost income housing. Now, this type of project, housing development, caters for those who are earning between that 3,500 and 15,000. We're providing various type houses that caters for different income categories. The houses normally will start at 180,000 to 400,000. And it depends on the affordability and the need of a person. Because like I said, there are various type houses to choose from. And the infill project as such, if you look at this Newlands area, we've got what we know as Newlands East as well as Newlands West. We are combining both areas because these are urban areas or urban townships that were developed a long time ago, but they are vacant pieces of land that is not developed after the old development by the old order. Now the Tshwane municipality is densifying this area by filling all the vacant properties. We're building on all the vacant properties in the Newland East and Newland West and providing this product.
I believe the uptake for these houses was very big from the. How did you manage that?
Everyone who wants to buy a house with this infill housing had to be registered with council. And there is a screening process that is being followed to see that the person qualifies in terms of the criteria, in terms of the allocation policy set out by the Tshwane municipality. And the second phase is obviously the one that has to do with the finances. A person may qualify in terms of the criteria, but may not qualify in terms of the finances. Now, we had a registration that was scheduled for the 1st of March, and the registration was supposed to have been held over there, but unfortunately, because of the demand, we could not control the people so as to register them properly.
In the end, how many people registered?
Roughly, we're looking at close to 10,000 people that were registered. It shows the demand is by far exceed the supply, the current supply. We are also doing similar schemes or similar projects in areas of Kwamashu and in areas of Chatsworth and an area in Westville Triangle. We are also looking at putting or initiating similar projects.
Now tell me about the racial quota that you use for these housing development. Is there one, and how is it working?
The intention there is to integrate communities. That is, say particularly for Newlands, we're looking at 45% of the houses having to be allocated to the African community. And we're looking at 25% to the Indian community as well as 25% to the colored community. There's also a 5% that is reserved for other races. But you can also appreciate the fact that is The racial quota thing is mostly based on the demographics around the city as well.
Well, thanks for giving us details on the Newlands infill site housing project. It is common knowledge, I think, that without crack officials, great teams, delivery is impossible. The same applies to housing. The eThekwini municipality is lucky to have officials like Kuglan Peida who will answer some of our questions. Welcome to BNG.
Thank you.
How's housing delivery going here in eThekwini municipality?
The eThekwini municipality has a huge housing challenge. In total, approximately 250,000 families live in inadequate accommodation in the eThekwini municipality. In terms of our current program, we need to work closely with provincial and national housing departments in order to achieve the targets by providing housing to all.
We, as you well know, traveled around the municipality and went to look at a few of your projects. When we talk to somebody who is about to get a unit at the Gliblands hostel in Umlazi, he said he was incredibly ecstatic about what was coming, but for him, the process just was too slow.
In terms of fast tracking, it's linked to the finances that are available. Now, in terms of the hostel's redevelopment program, we have a program, and on an annual basis, we get funding allocated by the municipality from the province. And within those constraints, we have to work on the upgrading program. So in reality, some people will have to wait for their houses to be upgraded or their accommodation to be provided in terms of the hostel redevelopment program. We can't provide everyone with a house immediately, and it's a process in terms of the delivery.
Now, when we went to Kedo Manor, which is a historic place, fascinating to put it mildly, the idea to sell BNG, then known as RDP houses, to the more wealthy suburb right next door was to have buildings, or rather houses, that are bonded, and those have been built. What amazed me was how small those were compared to, what BNG is building now for giveaway houses.
Unfortunately, that happened at a particular time. So what has happened there is that was largely based on the old system of the subsidy. The funding was limited, and the people that were signed up had only a specific amount in terms of what they could afford, and the houses were built to suit their needs. Now, although they bonded, those houses, although they're a bit small, their quality is much improved as to the normal RDP houses. So we have kept the sizes small, but we've enhanced the product by improving the quality of them in terms of sealing and plastering and putting a more finished product on the ground.
Now, Newlands has a different kind of problem to me. You are so successful there that the uptake is so huge that you're now ending up with some kind of 10,000 person backlog. How are you addressing that?
Yes, unfortunately, in this market that we're looking at, the bonded market, there is a tremendous backlog, and it's true that we had about 10,000 applicants for those houses. We don't have enough houses, but we are endeavoring to fast-track what we call a densification program, which densifies the existing residential areas, but it also benefits the social and the racial integration. Now, you'll see in these areas that were developed by the previous governments, they were based on a racial type of developments. Now what we do is the council has an opportunity to integrate races as well as social and economic communities into different areas.
Are there people in Kwamashu, for instance, saying, what are the Indians doing? I should be getting that house. Are there people in Newlands or Chatsworth saying, hey, what are the Africans doing here? I should be getting that house. Have you sold it to those communities?
It has been sold. I must admit, it has its challenges because it's not easily acceptable. People still have the issues of xenophobia, and people try to preserve areas. But it has to develop over time, and I think the council has bought into it. The councillors have accepted the quota system, and with that, the council councillors are actually talking to communities in terms of making them understand that this is one South Africa and we all have to live in a very integrated society.
Well, Colin, thanks for coming on BNG. We wish you all the best. Please don't go away. Thuli is up next with the BNG Housing Upgrade Competition.
Upgrade your policy with My Home from ABSA. SMS your full name to 32916 to apply. Let's break new ground together.
Thank you, Eric. It's my pleasure to welcome you back again to our BNG renovation segment. This week we'll be looking at installing a shower. Showers are quick and easy, and they also use much less water and take up less space than your conventional bath. It might sound a bit difficult, but these days there are many products available in the market for you to choose from that can make this installation process much easier for you. Before we can install in the shower, we're going to have to install the geyser first. How does this work?
This is done by a plumber. He will install the copper pipes. The cold water will go into the instant water heater called the hotter, and then comes out through the pipe, and then being controlled here comes out of the splasher, mixed cold and hot.
What materials or tools do you need to install a shower?
You need, first of all, the shower base, and then you need the shower itself. In Gogo's house, because it's a bit small, we'll be using a round shower, and you need the rose that splashes the water.
What are some of the things you need to look out for when you're installing a shower?
You have to, first of all, check your walls. Are they straight, even? And also check your floor, also for your base.
How long does the process of installing a shower take? And how much should one pay a contractor to install a shower?
Installation of a shower is a specialized job, so you need a person with special skills. It will take about half a day to do this kind of job, and also the cost involved will be about 2,500 for the material and 1,200 for the contractor. What is left now to be done is to install wall tiling. We can't do it now because we still have our walls wet. So once they dry up, then we put the wall tiles and the job is complete.
Okay. Renovations are quite exciting, and if you have already started to renovate your home, take advantage of this opportunity, because you could win yourself building materials to a value of 10,000 Rand. Simply send us a picture of your home to bng@housing.gov.za, or you could post it to PO Box 31201, Braamfontein 2017. We'll see you again at BNG Breaking New Ground next week. Stay tuned and good luck with all your renovations. Have a fantastic week.
Improve your RDP house with My Home from ABSA. SMS your full name to 32916 to apply. Let's break new ground together.
That's it for this edition of Breaking New Ground. Thanks for watching. Please join us again next week, Monday at 10 p.m. right here on SABC2. From the BNG team and myself, Eric Mieni, ciao.